with Ali. Ali, as you've seen from the flyer, is a tech guru in this case. As I call your name, you'll take place at the podium. He's a tech guru. He's going to tell us a little bit about how he got started and especially how what he does links into crypto. He's on many technical boards in the country. In fact, he just came from a tourism board meeting, and it's just one of the many. And then I will call George. George Mokisha, I've known him for a while and I've worked with him on several occasions. We'll explain all of that, how it came about. And then I'm going to call on you, Neil. And Neil, I'm excited to hear from you because you're going to tell us exactly how the crypto that you're using. And lastly, but not least, we have Laura. Stand up, Laura. We are grateful that you flew in all the way. I'm your host tonight. I will ask that, tell us a little bit about the way you found yourself in Binance and what you hope to do for Binance in the coming months so that the presence of Binance and crypto is better received than the news that we are getting here and there, because when you leave it to people to just hear piecemeals, the worst news is the one you get, like somebody was swindled and somebody stole their money. And so we want to hear from you about how to do crypto and do it right and how you got started, a little bit about your crypto journey so far. 2 minutes, you 2 minutes? Yeah. All right, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, Irene, for that question. So my journey is very interesting. I'm a banker by profession. I've been in the banking industry for quite a long time, since 2007. Yeah, so in 2016, I attended a banking forum which was talking about the future of banking. And the technologies they were showing there, it was more of fintech at that time. Fintech was something quite new to most people, and it was really a buzz at the time. And most of the technologies they were talking about, they were actually going to disrupt the traditional financial system. So on my personal journey as a banker, I looked at it and I was like, I think in the next few years, the way we think how a bank operates, it's not going to be the case in the next 5 to 10 years. So from that perception, I felt I needed to expose myself towards this new fintech industry. I didn't even know blockchain at the time. So around 2017, I left banking. And it's from banking, that's where I met Bitcoin for the first time. And my first purchase of crypto, it was more of an OTC. Someone tells you they sell crypto, you give them money, and then they send you the crypto. It was still not very clear to me, but I felt that was something I needed to do more research on. So around 2018, I was more into research. And until recently, actually a year ago, was when I joined Binance as a business development manager for East Africa. Now, my journey in Binance has been very interesting. I've really seen the market in the industry, the growth and the adoption in the crypto space here. I'm super excited. The more we keep pushing education, we're also pushing the growth of the industry. At the same time, we have been faced by challenges of scams, because there's so many scams ongoing in the name of crypto, in the name of Bitcoin, and most people have really lost money. Every time there's new scam coming up, and people fall prey to these scams. The recent one, I think it was Bitstream. I don't know if you guys heard of Bitstream. Most guys actually don't think of 11 billion Kenyan shillings were lost, right, into that scam. So it's very important for us to push education. It's very important for us to help people learn and understand the real crypto and how it works.
Let's go straight to Ali. Yeah, and you do a little bit of the same thing while I get this fixed.
Okay, thank you, Irene. For me, I think my space has been, I started in the fintech space, and I think a bit of background will be important to just get to understand where I started to really get interested in the fintech space, and obviously cryptocurrency and blockchain is one of a major component of fintech. So way back when I was just finishing uni, got my first job, and my first salary went into a bank that I shall not mention. And those days, even getting a debit card was something to be proud of. It was an innovation. So I walked into this bank to get my first salary using my debit card over the counter, and the guy tells me, "Oh, dude, sorry, we have moved your bank account to River Road." I'm like, "What?" He said, "Yeah, you have not met the threshold of 50,000 shillings to have a bank account in this branch." I'm like, "Are you for real?" He said, "Yeah." So, you know, uptown was for 50,000 and above, downtown River Road was for, so, you know, I really got started getting really interested in the whole financial services space to understand what is all about. Now, for all of us here, we today don't even take it, we take it for granted that you can walk into at an ATM, you can transact via M-Pesa. Those days, to get money from your bank account, you have to go to a specific branch. Yeah, a specific branch. Branches were not interconnected. So anyway, fast forward to a couple of years back. So today, I'm the chair of the FinTech Association of Kenya. I also serve on the executive board of the Africa FinTech Network, which is the umbrella body of all national fintechs across Africa, about 35 of them. But my first real interaction with crypto and blockchain back in 2018, when one organization that was doing stable coins, which was backed by gold, one-to-one by gold, approached me and asked me to become an advisory board member for a year. And I was like, okay, this is not something that, yes, I'm infected, but this is not something that, you know, I'm very comfortable about. So I really delved into it. We had a couple of weeks of discussion, and a friend of mine told me, "Look, Ali, what do you have to lose? The worst case scenario is you would have learned something." And so this company was like, "Oh, by the way, your advisory fees, we are going to pay them in our stable coin." I'm like, "What do you mean?" "Can you show me the dollars, please?" I'm like, "No, we need you to have skin in the game so that you can understand what we're talking about." So I debated this. One of my close friends told me, "Dude, it's okay to be paid in Monopoly money. At least you'll be playing Monopoly, you know?" Anyway, fast forward to today, I cashed my first into USDT. Okay, so for those of you who may not understand what USDT means, it's $1 to $1 on the Ether. I cashed my first stable coin a couple of months ago, and I can tell you for free, it felt sweet. And I've not looked back. Thank you.
Thanks, Ali. You'll be telling us quite a bit more about that. And Neil, I'll now come to you, and it'd be nice to hear about a little bit about your background, but also how it ties into crypto, and especially how it's beneficial to your organization in terms of storage of value. It's a different way of backing value, so to speak.
Excuse me, hello. My name is Nils. I have a 20-year background in trading derivative products in the financial markets, in the regulated financial markets. So I graduated a very, very long time ago. Most of you, I'm looking around, probably weren't even born in 1994 with a degree in banking and finance. thanks to my father, otherwise I would probably still be a surf bum today. And started in the derivatives markets, which of course back then, which again, probably many people will not remember, were actually executed manually on open outcry trading floors. And we saw through a transition into electronic markets, and over a period of 20 years, I traded, managed, ran and founded a series of hedge funds and trading houses. After 20 years, I left that industry and started a company here in Kenya, producing renewable biomass energy. Today, we're the largest in East Africa producing renewable biomass briquettes and pellets. And together with that comes a derivative product called carbon credits. And we are in the process today of digitizing a lot of our business and tokenizing those carbon credits into ultimately what will become a crypto coin. So backed by something. My journey with regards to crypto and hearing about crypto dates back to early 2011 when I had a young developer who was very clever tell me about Bitcoin. This wonderful thing called Bitcoin, because at that stage it had just had a price explosion from $3 to $12 and then all the way back down again. So very volatile. And I said to him, Edwin, you must be off your rocker, get back to work. But with all jokes aside, actually I was speaking to one of the members of the audience here just earlier. Back then it wasn't quite as easy as what it is today to transact cryptocurrency. And it was a whole or unknown world to everybody. So it has been a long journey, and one that I can tell you honestly, I've watched from the sidelines. But something that strikes a chord, because having seen the transition in the regulated financial markets from something that was manually traded to electronically traded, I think what we're seeing today is the same type of transition in a slightly different fashion, where you have, and I think Ali specified it very well, an industry that's trading on history, sticky money, and basically a lack of choice transitioning into what is looking into the future today. And this is certainly part of it. And I think the final thing to sort of just touch on is why has crypto started in the first place? Well, I think Bitcoin has been the trailblazer, and I don't think even before then it even existed. And what we have to remember as a view from the financial markets, Bitcoin very early on was something that people simply didn't want to touch. And I think there's going to be questions about this, the illicit activity, who's trading it, anonymity. It sort of represented everything that the finance world was not about, and that you couldn't touch from a regulated standpoint. But the one thing it had going for it is that it has a defined number of coins ultimately, which means that now it's an anti-inflationary tool, and it's no accident that it came out post the financial crisis of 2008. So early doors, this was looked at as a one-for-one versus gold. And this is, I think, probably a very different viewpoint from what you'll hear from my fellow panelists who are clearly living on the sort of cutting edge of crypto, and I'm really a dinosaur. But the realities are that that's really how it started, and it's had a long journey into becoming something that is acceptable into more mainstream. But I'm sure that we'll speak more about that later on, so thank you.
Sure.
Hello everyone, very great to be here. This is my 5th time to come to Nairobi, so not very strange for me, quite similar. This city is quite similar to me. Really good to stay here and share more about how Binance will grow here, and about our strategy, our plans, how we can make our products everywhere across African regions. Before joining Binance, almost all my working experience was related with investment. I was an investor in tech industry before. I worked for 2 listed companies, and also I worked for Transsion Holdings for the early stage investment arm. Transsion Holdings is a parent company of Techno Phones, itel Phones, and Infinix Phones, right? That's why 2 years ago, 2019, I stayed in Africa for almost 1 year. I traveled across 11 countries from West Africa to East Africa, from Egypt to South Africa. So to really know what is happening here. After this journey, to be honest, it's the most exciting journey for all of my experience, 2 years ago. Because I really stand on the ground, talk to the startups, the different players, to know the ecosystem, to know what kind of problems we have in Africa, what kind of solutions we need. And if we need to set up a startup, what should be the best way to grow it, right? So it really helped me a lot to know Africa. And after the COVID, I go back to China. I stay in China for 2 years. In these 2 years, I started thinking about what kind of things I really have the highest interest. For me, I think, okay, staying in investment industry is good because every day you need to talk with new entrepreneurs, new startups to know what is happening out there. You always are contacting with those very smart people, very innovative solutions. It's very good. But for me, I feel I want to do something by myself. I want to grow the business by myself. I don't want to, okay, I invest on someone, wait for their growth with patience, right? It makes me feel I stay outside of the business. I want to stay in the business. That's why I made a decision last year. I joined Binance. At first, my journey still, start with the merger and acquisition. I stayed in the Binance lab for 2 months. After that, I moved to another department called Global Partnership. What is Global Partnership? It is more for, back then, especially last year, Binance got warnings across the whole world, almost the whole world. Philippines, Singapore, Japan, Southeast Asia, to warn us, okay, Binance, you are not legal to operate here. If you want to operate your business legally, you need to apply a license. You need to fully be regulated and compliant on the ground. That's why we set up this business unit called Global Partnership to figure out how we can quickly fully regulated and compliant in different regions, right? I stayed there for 3 months. It really helped me to know what is the different regulation framework across the world. The Southeast Asia compared with European or maybe compared with other countries are totally different. So it really helped me to have an overview about what is happening, what is thinking from the regulator's perspective about cryptocurrency business. I stayed there for about 3 months and then moved to regional markets. It is my personal choice because for me, I still feel, I want to feel the energetic to grow the market. That's why I think, okay, let me go back to Africa. Compared with other regions, Africa, especially for cryptocurrency and blockchain, are still at a very early stage. It's a nascent market to us. That's why I think, okay, I want to go there. I want to go back to Africa to really grow the business. So last December, I come to Lagos. I stay in Lagos for 3 months. And then I moved to East Africa regions. Compared with Nigeria or Ghana, East Africa regions is kind of early to us. That's why I stay here. I choose to stay here for a long time to really, show, okay, Binance is here. I want to have this kind of events more. I want to meet people to get to know potential partners to see how we can really work together. I think, especially for this year, maybe next year, I will really, stay with my teammates, how we can make Binance logo to penetrate into every market. That is our vision here. So, yeah, thanks so much.
Yeah, we'll get to that. And so, I will ask show of hands. Who knows somebody that has lost money in crypto? Okay, maybe I should have asked who doesn't know something. Yeah, because the reason for today is not just about learning about Binance, it's also about how to do it right. And that's why they're here, because once you put yourself through the process of being regulated, then you're open to scrutiny and you're not hiding behind some screen somewhere where people don't know where your crypto is and things like that. And so we start with today's session, and the first question will be to you, Ali. When somebody asks you what is crypto, let's start there, right? And by the way, anyone who's got really good questions today will win something. So I'm hoping that when we get to Q&A, 2, 3, 4, 5 people will win because they ask some very good questions. Ali, when somebody asks you what's crypto, what answer do you have for them? I'll ask you the same question, George.
For me, in layman's language, really crypto is a decentralized currency that nobody really controls, and it's backed by a community's trust through the blockchain platform. That's, for me, the simplest way to explain what a cryptocurrency is. So one of the things that people would ask then, so if it's a currency and it's not being issued by a centralized government like a central bank, is that really money, or is it monopoly money? Again, as I said, the fact of the matter is that within an ecosystem you have trust, and that trust is built to a point now that people are actually trading different types of cryptocurrencies. Obviously, the ones that we know most are, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Binance Coin that they have launched themselves, and several hundred others. So I'll stop there because we can have further conversation about what really that means to you as an individual and how do you access crypto and so on.
Thank you very much, Ali. For me, I'll just explain more of the same. So let's start with the genesis. Where did everything get started? So Bitcoin, which was created around 2008, 2009, is the first cryptocurrency to come into the space. Now, for those who want to do a bit of research, I will encourage you to go and download a paper called the Bitcoin White Paper. You can just Google Bitcoin White Paper. Just go and download it. It's a 9-page document which was written by this anonymous Satoshi Nakamoto, the entity behind Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency to come into the space. And it's from Bitcoin that we have seen many other cryptocurrencies come into the place. So Ethereum is the second biggest cryptocurrency, came around 2014, 2015. But before that, we have had other cryptocurrencies like Litecoin, Dashcoin, that is around 2013. Ripple was also created in 2013, and many other cryptocurrencies. So we have almost over 10,000 cryptocurrencies in the space right now. And these cryptocurrencies are being developed all the very time, and anyone can go to a blockchain and build their own cryptocurrency. The most important thing is what use case or what problem is the cryptocurrency solving.
George, while you're still on that question,
Yes.
the question becomes, other than just money, what else is cryptocurrency used for? Can you hear me? I'll try and project. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm trying to ask a question here that other than store of value or currency, what else is cryptocurrency used for? Because we have heard some shady deals. What was the intention of the genesis of cryptocurrency? It had more than just money. It's got other use cases. So what should we expect or look for when you're looking for cryptocurrency to invest in?
That's a very good question. Thank you, Irene. So the reason why Bitcoin was created as a genesis coin was it was solving one problem. It's an electronic peer-to-peer cash system. That's it. In fact, that's the title of the white paper, right? Bitcoin, an electronic peer-to-peer cash system. Simple. That was the goal for Bitcoin. Of course, over time, we've seen people use it as a store of value, to do transactions here and there, and so many other things. So Bitcoin blockchain, eventually now you learn that Bitcoin is also a blockchain on its own. Now, blockchain is basically the technology behind the cryptocurrencies. And the word crypto originates from the word cryptography, which is actually a unit in computer science for those who have done some IT. So cryptography is basically a way of encrypting data end to end, all right? And that's why the word crypto came into place, because it's a way of encrypting these particular digital assets. Now, from Bitcoin, we have other blockchains, like Ethereum is a blockchain on its own. But what is Ethereum solving, or what was Ethereum there for? So Ethereum was meant to entrepreneurialize the blockchain ecosystem, whereby anyone, instead of someone building their own crypto or their own coin like Bitcoin, you can actually go there and build a certain solution, whatever solution it's going to be. So it can be, you can actually tokenize the solution. You can put maybe things like land registry on the Ethereum blockchain. You can put things like the voting system on the blockchain, and so many others. So basically, Ethereum is a platform for anyone who wants to go and build any solution there.
Okay.
And from there, we have seen now many other cryptocurrencies taking the same model, including Binance Coin, right? Whereby it's a decentralized platform where anyone can go and build a solution and give it a use case.
Thanks. Yes.
Sorry, just from the old school economics viewpoint, Bitcoin as a first cryptocurrency really gathered traction from sort of my perspective, because it came about at a period of time when governments around the world were printing unbelievable amounts of money. The US government were printing $85 billion a month. And in short, people begin to lose the faith of the store of value in a US dollar. And every single bet that you would find for probably 18 months in the bond and futures markets in the US were curve steepeners, which were betting on inflation. And so I don't think it's an accident that cryptocurrency gained so much traction at a period of time where there was beginning to be a loss of faith in what we refer to as fiat currencies, old school currencies governed by governments. And I think one really important point is that Bitcoin, there's a defined number of Bitcoin, and I think the experts can probably help me, but it's 21,400,000 something. You will never get more Bitcoin. That means no one's going to print anything, no one's going to reduce the value of it. And what we must also remember is that this is in a period where every single year, and it continues to date, the spending power of the average earner, certainly in Europe and the US, has been declining every single year. Even if your salary goes up, your spending power goes down. There's just a loss of faith in old school currencies, and I think that's been a big driver of propelling Bitcoin to the front and more cryptos. Thank you.
Thanks. Ali, I'll ask you to expand on that. Then.
You can hear me now, right? To expand on that, and just basically, cryptocurrency is perhaps an alternative store of value and maybe a superior one. Yeah.
So, the fact of the matter is, even central bankers across the world are coming to the realization that this is not something to be ignored anymore. So you find certain jurisdictions are now licensing cryptocurrencies within a certain regulatory framework. But I think the central bankers are going even one step further and starting to create or to think about what they call CBDCs, that's central bank digital currencies. The central bank digital currencies are simply e-money. Simply e-money that would reflect one-on-one with fiat currency on an electronic format. I leave it to your imagination to think why this is now starting to happen at the policy and regulatory level. 14% of banks have already executed central bank digital currencies. And we have one in Africa, the e-Naira in Nigeria. So the million-dollar question then in the space that people are starting to ask is, why is are the central banks starting to look at CBDCs? And there are various reasons. One could be the fact that post-COVID, people are starting to realize cashless transactions are going to become the norm. And in actual fact, Kenya is a leading light when it comes to these cashless transactions. With M-Pesa, some people have even, claimed that M-Pesa is a stable coin. Because, okay, so don't quote me, right? I'm just saying that some people are claiming, not Ali Hussein. Some people are saying that you can say that M-Pesa is a stable coin. So why are people starting to talk like that? So, if you have 1,000 shillings in your M-Pesa wallet, can you take it to an agent and get 1,000 shillings? Can you or can you not? It is what it is, and the fact of the matter is that this whole conversation around cryptocurrencies and around digitized money is spewing more and more use cases. My brother here talks about the fact that people are losing faith in the banking system. That is a fact. And we can't hide behind the fact that that is not true at a global level. So you are finding now a situation where you have DeFi, decentralized finance. Simply, guys are saying, you know what, guys? Why can we not just use these same cryptocurrency technologies to borrow from each other? Why do you need to take money to a bank and then the bank lends to you? But how do you ensure trust? That's where the blockchain comes in. So these are interesting conversations to have.
Okay. And how many have questions?